Hello, and welcome back to Costa. Today we're going to be analyzing one variable data, our last lesson in D1. Today we're learning how to find and analyze data that somebody else has collected for us. And you're successful at these skills when you can collect that one variable data from a secondary source. So again, when it's something that someone else has collected, when you can organize and store that data using a variety of tools, in particular spreadsheets. And when you can solve problems by interpreting and analyzing that data that you collected from someone else, from a secondary source. To start us off, I'll ask you to go ahead and scan this link here to find a spreadsheet of data that will look sort of like this. So this is a bunch of different games that were released in 2018 and what their rating is on a site called BoardGameGeek.com. Now, it's not pictured here, but there are 3 sheets on this spreadsheet. This is 2018 data. You'll also see 2017 and 2016. As I go through this process of copying that data from the spreadsheet into my own spreadsheet and analyzing it, I'll work with the 2018 data, but I would like you to try to do the same with the 2017 data, and that way maybe you can follow along and you'll learn the skills on how to copy and analyze data into your own spreadsheet. Okay, without any further ado, the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is select the data. So I can either select column A and B, or I can just click on this little blue dot and drag it to the bottom of the data. So now I have all of the cells from A in columns A and B from rows 1 all the way to 63 selected. I'll right click or tap again on the selected data, and then I will copy it. Then I'll go ahead and pop open Google Sheets. If you're on a computer, you can go to sheets.google.com. If you're on your phone, you could just pop open the Google Sheets app. And once you have the Sheets app open, in the bottom right corner, whether you're on a phone or a computer, there'll be a little plus sign which you can click to start a new spreadsheet. In your new blank spreadsheet, in the first cell, you're going to tap right there and you're going to paste special. And by that, I mean you're going to paste the values only. And once you've done that, your data should all appear just like that. And I'll give you, why don't you pause the video here? This is a good time for you to pause the video and go ahead and follow those steps to copy your data into a new spreadsheet. Hopefully that was you were able to do that. And now what we're going to do is, now we're done copying the data. Ooh, that was easy. Now we're going to start analyzing it. So over here, to analyze it, you could use formulas in Google Sheets or in any spreadsheet software. And the first formula I'm going to use is I'm going to try to find the mean of all the ratings. So for all the games that were published in 2018, I want to find out, was that a good year? What was the average rating? So I'll use the formula equals average, and then in the brackets, I'll put B colon B. So that will be all of column B. And when I press enter, of course, it will give me the exact column. Now, maybe you want to make your spreadsheet a little prettier. So here I've put in some titles: mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation. These 3 are my measures of central tendency, and these are my measures of spread. So under mean and the cell right under it, just so I'm a little bit more organized, I'll use that same formula that I just mentioned. And that'll tell me that the mean is about 7.9. I'll use a formula called median to calculate the median. Spreadsheets can do this in just one easy formula. And I'll use the formula mode to calculate the mode. Now, in this data set, the median was 7.8, a little bit less than the mean. But the mode was not applicable. That means there was no number that appeared maybe more than once, or maybe there is a tie, something like that. For the range, the way we calculate range is we take the highest number and we subtract the lowest. So the formulas for that is max and min. Max would tell us the highest number in column B, and then from that I will subtract min, which is the lowest number in column B. And when I press enter, it'll tell me that the range is about 2.32. Oh, that's not very big at all, especially with the scale of 1 to 10. All of the numbers only fell within 2.3. Okay, well, what about the standard deviation? So I'm going to use the formula standard deviation, so STDEVP. So this is standard deviation of a population. That's what that P stands for. And without having to do all of my, variance and subtracting and squaring and square rooting, the formula STDEVP will tell me right away that the standard deviation is 0.539. And there you have it. I have all of my measures of central tendency and my measures of spread. And that is for all of this data right here. Now, if I want to make to do any further analysis, I think what I might do is create a chart for this data. This is one variable data, so I will select all of it. And then if you're on your phone, you can click on this little plus sign. If you're on a computer, you can go to Insert, and you will insert a chart. And the chart that, of course, should automatically be picked for you is a histogram. And I will confirm that, yes, this is the chart that I want inserted. And there you have it. It has automatically made for me a histogram of all of my data. And I can see that, oh, most of the games were in this sort of range between 7.36 and 8.21. There were very few games below 6.9 and very few above 9.07. Now, I did this for 2018's data, and you should have been following along with 2017's data. And if you were doing everything correctly, this is what you should see. A mean of 7.36, a median of 7.28, a mode of 6.97, a range of 2.995, and a standard deviation of 0.547 approximately. And of course, if you'd like, you can pause the video here, go back through all of those steps and try to repeat it for 2016. And that way we'll have 3 different data sets and we can compare all 3 of those. So hopefully you had some time to go ahead and do that. Let's review 2016's data. Ooh, very similar to 2017. There's a big peak in the middle, and we can see that this data is, generally speaking, it looks like it's kind of normally distributed. Although there do seem to be two peaks here. The fact that they are so close together, I would still say that this sort of looks like a hill, and therefore this is a normal distribution. Let's compare all 3 of our data sets. So we're going to use that, we just did this, right? We used that same method to find the mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation for 2016. What do we notice about that data? Well, this was the data for 2016. And let's see what we notice about all of this. So here's 2017, here's 2016, here's 2018. Notice that 2016 and 2017, they have a lot more games got released. So the histogram goes all the way up to 60, whereas for 2018, it only goes up until 20. But still, both of them, all 3 of them actually follow a normal distribution. See if you can notice anything else about this data, especially looking at the analysis from the measures of central tendency and the range. One thing that I noticed, between comparing all 3 of these, I noticed that 2018 has the highest mean. So it has a mean of 7.9, which means the games that were released had a rating of about 7.9 on average, whereas 2017 was down to 7.3 and 2016 down to 7.2. It also has the smallest range and a standard deviation, although not by much, but still it is the lowest. The median is higher, the range and the standard deviation are lower than either of these, which means the data is not as spread out. So I would say, just based on this, the 2018 seems like a better year for games than either of these 2. And that's more or less what our lesson is for today. To analyze one variable data, you can copy and paste a table from a website, or even just download a CSV, which is comma separated values file, and open it with spreadsheet software to obtain that secondary data and get in a way that is ready to use right away using a spreadsheet. Once you have that data, you can use formulas like STDEVP and average and mean and median to calculate your measures of central tendency and spread. In a normal distribution, if your measures of central tendency are very high and your spread is very low, that might mean that the population that you're studying consistently scores high numbers. A low spread means that you got those numbers very frequently. And if the measure of central tendency is high, well, that tells you that those scores were high as well. Now, that might not necessarily be a good thing. Maybe you're looking for low score, like low scores means better. Either way, this is just what the data would seem to indicate. What you don't want is a large spread necessarily, because that would mean that your data is kind of inconsistent, right? Whether your central tendency is high or low, if the spread is high, then your data is going to be inconsistent. Now, maybe, you want your data to be more spread out instead of very, very consistent all the time. And that's a decision that you'll sort of have to make on your own. For now, these are just some ideas on how to analyze one variable data so that you can use those in your day-to-day life. If you like this video, please like, rate, subscribe, and join our mailing list. And you can find this lesson as well as practice questions, solutions, handouts, and more on our storefront. Thanks and have a great day.